Alright, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today we're taking another look at a budget deck list to see if we can make this work on the ladder, but this time we're going with Selesnya Lifegain. Now this is probably a deck you've seen quite a bit, but obviously it gets to pack in a few extra rares and some fun special lands and everything like that that really help it function, and we don't necessarily have access to those when we're on a budget. So we're going to see if we can cut those corners and still make a deck that works on the ladder. I think we might be surprised in some things and we might be disappointed in other things, but this is kind of why we do this, right? I go through the efforts so you don't have to. Also, by the way, if you like budget decks, be sure to share this video, like it, put it in your Twitter feed, whatever. Like, budget decks get a lot less love than regular videos, so I kind of want to make sure that's known. And if you want those to continue, not just from my channel but from other creators, make sure you pump up the content you really like. So if you do like budget decks or like seeing these options, be sure to promote it, push it, whatever, to make sure that the numbers stay high so people are encouraged to keep doing them. Anyway, let's go take a look at this Selesnya Lifegain list on a budget. Alright, now as always, I'm going to tell you, check out our friends over at shop.ultrapro.com. UltraPro makes some of the best gaming accessories and have a huge variety of stuff for Magic, D&D, Pokemon, other things. Go check them out. Even if you just have sports cards, comic books, whatever, they got stuff to help you out. Okay, so nothing's going to be surprising in this list. It's mostly just about what numbers and how we're pulling stuff together here. So we're playing 4 Cleric class. Not even because of the first 2 abilities on this, believe it or not. We're playing it because of the ability to get creatures back, because that's going to be one of the toughest things in this list. Is we're just going to have to find a way to get to a late game situation, because we may not be great at that. Obviously, Lunarch Veteran we're not going to do without. It's the best thing we can cast for 1 mana. It gains life, which is the whole purpose of this deck. So this is probably the best card you can have in your opening hand. Now we do need to have Snakeskin Veil, and this is a little bit tough because I had to make a decision here. Either we were going to play Snakeskin Veils or we were going to play Valorous Stance. Now, Snakeskin Veil lets us dodge all the spot removal, possibly give us some combat tricks. We could play Valorous Stance, but then that mostly protects us from sweepers, like Blood on the Snow, for instance, but doesn't really help us with all the spot removal that's out there, right? So you kind of have to pick your poison, so to speak. So I decided to go with Snakeskin Veil just because of the casting cost. Now we have 4 Hallowed Priests, and this is a free card you get in Arena, so figured technically it's budget. It's there, it's in people's Arena accounts. We're going to go ahead and play it, so we're going to go ahead and play with the full 4 of these. Then we're playing 2 Impassioned Orator, also one of the free cards, but it's another way to gain life, and it's a 2/2 body. Now, Voice of the Blessed is where we are spending some of our rares, which, by the way, we agreed last night on stream when we started talking about it on Twitter with the community, that we're going to call budget 9 rares and mythics, either or less. We feel like anything above that could be considered harder to get. Under that, people could probably build it within a week or 2 of just getting free stuff online or their dailies. So if you're wondering where the rares come from, that's why. But we're not playing all that many in this list. But we are playing Voice of the Blessed because if you're doing the life gain +1/+1 counter thing, this is genuinely probably the second best card you can play in these types of lists. So yeah, we're going with it. Prosperous Innkeeper, great for helping your mana, allowing you to play 2 spells in a turn. It's good for gaining life. We like all the things this card does. Now, Trail of Serra, I had to decide if we wanted to play 3 or 4 because it's legendary. But I figured because we're playing we're playing weaker cards than we would love to play, and we don't have any real powerful things, we kind of wanted to be able to have that extra scry effect more reliably to make sure we can get our bonus cards when we need them. So I went ahead and decided to play 4 of those. Now, another card that came out of, this is Adventure in Forgotten Realms, is a 3 mana 3/2 Celestial Unicorn. It's a +1/+1 every time you gain life, so it starts a little bigger than your other creatures, but it does cost you 1 more mana. We're playing 3 of these. Again, we're on a budget, but it does what we're trying to do. Now, this is probably the best card you can play in here, mostly because it flies. It's 2/4. It helps make all your creatures bigger that even don't have necessarily the +1/+1 bonus feature. You get to gain life. Like, this card's just very good. So this is where we spent our other rares. So we have 8 total rares in this deck. 4 Angels and 4 Voice of the Blessed. And then we were trying 2 Sigardian Paladin. And the reason I wanted to throw this in here is this card itself can have Trample and Lifelink. Not bad, right? It's 4 mana, but it's the only 2 4 mana things we're playing. The other thing about it is we could give something else Trample. And I was hoping that as these games play out, if we end up against other aggro decks or something, let's say we have a Trellisera or a Hallowed Priest that's like a 7/7 or an 8/8, and they're just chump blocking. Well, if we get to one of these, we could at least give those things Trample and still try to end the game, because we have no other way to punch through otherwise with our ground creatures. So we're going to see how this works out, but it's the best answer we've got, unfortunately. I looked around, there wasn't much else. That wasn't rare or mythic. There were some other options, but if we're trying to stay on a budget, this is like the next best thing we have. Lands, unfortunately, we're not doing anything super special. It's 10 plains, 7 forests, 4 Arctic tree lines. And fortunately, Field of Ruin is an uncommon, so we can still use that to get rid of opposing creature lands and stuff. But that's probably the best we're going to be able to do, because we do have several things where we need to hit our green and our white. Possibly we could play a second Field of Ruin, but we're only playing 22 lands, so you don't want to get too out of hand there. But anyway, like I said, no surprise cards here. It's just kind of numbers and how we decided to go about it. But we'll play the games, and at the end of the games, we'll talk about how we would update this, because I have a feeling this isn't going to be the final version. We'll definitely have some things we want to do to it. And then we'll have a card spotlight for you as usual. So enjoy the games, and I'll catch you on the other side. We'll keep this. Yeah, like roping's bad etiquette, but here's the reality. If nobody gave a damn about roping, the ropers would quit doing it. Like, that's literally it. Lactose the intolerant. That is funny. Like, people only do things because they know it gets under people's skin. If you didn't let it get under your skin, then they just quit doing it because it has no value. It's the same reason in paper. You have people who will sit and not concede because they know it annoys people to play the game out. Like, though strategically, there's times you do and don't want to concede. Glyph Weaver is fine for Doomscar stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. It's something I'll consider. Let's see what the opponent's up to here. I don't know what they want to do. It's also vampires, so they're definitely going to have some spot removal. They're not likely going to be playing sweepers. So we have to kind of decide like what order these are going to hit the table, because it's going to be very important. My instinct says probably Trellisera first, and we go from there. So we're going to go Innkeeper into Trellisera, I think is going to be correct. And then, like... Actually, that's not true. I think I'm going to go with Hallowed Priest first. And then I could go Trellisera Valkyrie next turn. Yeah, I think this is better. Because if something draws heat, I'd rather it be the Hallowed Priest. No attacks. And then if stuff survives after that, then we're probably okay, and we can live with whatever consequences come after that point. Do we block? No, we don't block. We're not interested in giving up a Hallowed Priest for a Socialite. Purveyor. Ooh, we're going to get some blood tokens. All right. Do I want to do this first or that first? That'll get me 2 bonuses. Yeah, we get the most life this way. I mean, we'll take some hits from the big dude, but we can live with that. Like, that's just cost of doing business. Yeah, that can stay. Yep, I can still stay. Yep, we're going to attack with the 10-10. I think that's reasonable. Oh, that little blood thief getting run over. All right. The best part is they kill our Valkyrie. Oh, they stole our dude. No. Not that it matters. We just chump block it. Do I really care? If we get hit for, we can get hit for 17 and go to, what's that? 28, 19? Take 9, go to 27. Yeah, I'm just blocking with this. That's fine. We get our dude back anyway. Socialite, fair. Yeah. Why not? I mean, that's a lot of trigger. Oh, that's definitely staying. Yep. Looks like everybody's attacking. Actually, it does the Innkeeper attack. You still, yeah, why not? Because if they don't block the others, they just die, so sure. Oh, okay, sure. That was brave. Yeah. Sure. I mean, you literally can't attack here. Yeah, exactly. I was like, that doesn't seem smart. Do I care about this unicorn? I mean, obviously we know what's on top, but I think I will discard this. And it does shrink their purveyor a little bit. Oh, well, there you go. That's a thing. Not really expected, but it'll do. Also excellent, so if this gets swept, we can start right over with an Innkeeper and a Voice. Alright, well, everything's attacking here. I mean, that should be it. I mean, your opponent, you're at 7. You literally, yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. There just wasn't enough. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, we keep it. I mean, we only have one life gainer, so that's a little bit tough. I would have liked a second one in hand, because we got 3 growth creatures, which are great, but if we don't have a way to gain life, it's kind of pointless. So what I would like to draw maybe is our 1-mana Duder. So we have that as an early play. This, of course, is going to get bounced with the Fading Hope, because the opponents always have it. Yep, no surprise. So again here, I really would like to draw another life gainer. That's exactly what we wanted here. So I think we're going to go with this, followed by the Impassioned Orator. And see how the opponent feels about it. And then they'll just Jiraiya's Disruption this one. Probably Disruption this and try to kill our veteran on their turn is what I think they're probably going to end up doing. Nope. So a Spikefield Hazard on our veteran? Interesting, not even that. It was in a braid. Okay, cool. Expressive Iteration. Okay, let's hope they don't have a way to deal with this veteran, because it's kind of carrying all our hopes and dreams in a little basket. Unfortunately, it looks like they probably have it, because they highlighted to double check. Oh, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Ooh, this is a little tough, because I kind of don't... Yeah, we want to use the treasure. Whatever, we got to get out in front of this. Alright. And then this at least becomes a 4/4. Cleric class. How do I feel about this? I don't think we need that right now. I think we need another land more than anything else. Innkeeper can stay. It's sort of a land. Innkeeper guarantees that if something weird happens on this turn, we can still cast like a Hallowed Priest and whatever behind it. So I'm alright with that. Trellisera may just get divided by 0 here as well, and we just end up having to replay it, which is annoying, but is what it is. The one benefit we do have against these types of decks is that even if they do combo off, sometimes you just gain enough life that they can't kill you even with like 3 or 4 turns in a row attacking with birds. And that's the real benefit. You know, and then they inevitably have to leave some number of birds back to be able to block the shenanigans that you're up to. So we're going to do all this pre-combat so that we can gain a bunch of life on a Trellisera, blah, blah, blah. Like, they may still spin treasure and bounce it or whatever, but we don't really care. We'll leave that on top. Do what you're going to do, opponent. Gonna go ahead and play this. And if they spin the treasure, that means they're not going to be able to combo at any point easily in the future, so we're okay with that too. Now that can stay. We're making this Trellisera into a pretty big monster. Now the downside we do have is if they do something like, let's say, burn down the house, like, that's going to be very unfortunate because we're not going to have anything to gain life with from here, but the opponent will also be at lethal from this giant Trellisera, so there's that. So though our draw wasn't stellar, this might be enough to get us to the finish line. We'll see. Alright, they're taking an extra turn, so there's their blockers that they needed. Now they're down to 6 mana, though I assume they have some number of divide by zeros or something, but we'll see. We do get to cast 1 creature that grows, then attack, and see if possibly they decide to bounce the Trellisera. Oh, they might just double bounce some things here with divide by 0, actually. That wouldn't be unreal. Ooh, nope. They're trying to set up a big combo for next turn. Smart. Might as well dig. And then they still have 4 mana if they want it. Obviously, keeping their birds as blockers is the best thing for them right now, so there's no sweep or anything coming at this point. We know that much. And even if they burn a couple of treasure, they'll still have 8 mana, so they have flexibility here if they need it. But they have a handful of cards, and they're going to have a lot of mana next turn, and they're able to copy a spell. So lots of things are in play at the moment, unfortunately. So I'm only going to play this. And then we'll see what the opponent's up to. If they bounce a Trellisera or some such, we could recast it, and that would be fine. And again, this is giving us a lot of life here so that we still will survive most of what will happen. So let's keep that on top. Why not? Don't know how much more sideways things will go, but you never know. We also get to attack with our ground creatures here because what are they really going to do? I mean, if they block them, they block them. I mean, they can spin 2 bounce spells or something here, whatever. Get rid of Hallowed Priest and Trellisera. Block, say, like 2 Innkeepers or whatever. I mean, it would be unfortunate, but we have another Innkeeper on top, so whatever. Alright, there's a divide by 0. We expected that. It's what else do they have? Okay, that we're not so worried about. That's a nuisance, but not the end of the world. Though, if they have a land... No, they wouldn't have enough. They'd be 1 short of copying it. No, 2 short, because it costs 3. I mean, you block... Oh, that actually sucks for us. That's actually bad. They actually had the right cards. Good on the opponent. Yeah. For sure. All right, well, we'll just replay this. Gain what little life we can, unfortunately. Still leaving that on top. I mean, admittedly, everything they have still has to block, and we're going to have a 5-5, a 7-7, and a 10-10. So, is what it is, I guess. I mean, they're blocking to not die. They're literally not even blocking to kill anything. They're just blocking to stay alive. But this kind of has to be their turn, right? And then we're going to get a couple more Trelicera triggers as well. Oh, I didn't even count that. These are going to be even bigger, honestly. We'll get rid of that since that's legendary. And then we're going to play this one. And then we get 2 more counters on everything. Don't want that. More triggers. Let me view the battlefield. Like, is there a chance they can block that? Let's see if they double block this. No, because you have to block all these, right? Not true. I guess you could block the veteran, block this, take 6. I mean, that's possible. I mean, if that's the case, we just attack with everything that's not the veteran then, right? Force the opponent to block. Alright. I guess we still don't want a Trelicera. Alright. I mean, they can keep a 4-4 if they want and go to 1. That's fine. Okay. I assume they wouldn't want to take that much damage, but you never know. Now, 1 point does potentially make a difference here. And there is the reality that we could have kept a Trelicera just to make sure we trigger these and put other counters on. Because it is possible we just draw a land off the top and then we don't get anything. You know, like, that's a real possibility. But they die anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, boy. Yeah, we keep it. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere immediately, but we have things. I mean, as much as I don't like playing Arctic Tree Lines in a super aggro deck, like, we're on a budget, so, you know, we're kind of having to play it. And it's not terrible with this hand, since we really don't need to play Cleric class on turn 1. It's just kind of a bonus. And we get to play the Orator, then after that, I don't know what we're going to do. Kind of have to figure it out. However, this is likely going to be one of those situations where having a Snakeskin Veil is just going to be worse for us because they can sweep the board, and we can't protect our creatures from sweepers, sadly. We can just protect them from being targeted. So I'm hoping for a white land here, so we could Voice of the Bless and protect it. And then if we Valkyrie after that, what does that do? Alright, we got the white land. So let's go ahead and play this first. And then we'll pass. I assume the opponent's going to spend their turn trying to target and remove our Voice of the Bless, because it would make sense. Assuming they have another white land, which they do. Alright. We're going to go ahead and save it. And now we have to hope we can outrace Blood on the Snow. Anything, really. That's kind of where we're at. The tough thing here is we don't actually want to attack. Mostly because I don't want to give them a treasure and speed them up to being able to play a reasonable Blood on the Snow or even Meathook Massacre early. We want to force them to find all the removal the hard way, or the mana the hard way. Now, they can still kill our Voice of the Bless. Ah, they had Deadly Dispute anyway. Yep. Well, we're probably going to lose our stuff, y'all. Like, not much we can do. Oh, looks like our Voice of the Bless is dead. Okay, well, the good news here is, means maybe they don't have Blood on the Snow? I mean, it only cost them 1 more mana, so I don't know. Maybe they do. But it's possible they don't. So that could be a thing. Oh, actually, I should have played this first. Gosh dang it. That was stupid. But, oh well. We'll get in what we can. Now, on the plus side, we do... I mean, we'd have to get to 5 mana. I mean, we could slowly work on rebuilding our board, but we could just be about to lose everything here. Okay, we're actually not. Okay, so this gives us a chance. This gives us a chance. Not a great one, but a chance nonetheless. So, all right. Maybe, just maybe. They found the mana they might need here, though. The most we can do is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe if we got another Valkyrie, that's still only 12. Ah, boy. I think even if we get another creature, all we can do is just attack as is, knowing the opponent's going to block. And I think that's the best we can do. Assuming we're going to lose everything and they're going to get back probably a Professor. And then we'll have to fight through, I'm guessing, Mascot Exhibition. Yeah, this doesn't do enough for us, I don't think. So yeah, I think the plan here is just attack, because they're going to block the 5/5 anyway. Even if it got bigger, it's still going to be the creature that gets blocked here. So this turn doesn't really result in any extra damage. So we'll just level this up. Possibly find a land next turn to be able to get back like a Valkyrie or something maybe. But I assume this is Blood on the Snow time. Or, you know, maybe it's just, okay, I would say it had to be Blood. If it wasn't, it could have been Meat Hook Massacre for -5. Could have been a thing. But yeah, I assume here you just go get Mascot Exhibition. And we're a long way from dead, so I don't necessarily want to just scoop this, you know, because again, if we find another creature, this is also going to give us extra counters, but we didn't find a creature, so there's that. What'd they get this for? Interesting. Are they trying to get their own Planeswalker back? Like, what? Interesting choice. Not what I thought they were going to get. So, what do we get here? I mean, if we level this and get Valkyrie... I mean, I guess we kind of have to, right? Opponent's only at 10. I mean, we're up to 33. This is 2 hits from a Valkyrie kills them. If I get something else that gains life, I would get to put... still only get to put 2 extra counters. Yep. Gonna exile the Valkyrie. Fair enough. I don't hate it. I get it. Makes a lot of sense. I feel like we're managing this okay, though. I'm not too heartbroken just yet. I feel like things are still serviceable. Not good, but serviceable. Right, here we can play this. We can level this one. Then we'll play a land, because there is a possibility we get like a Lunarch Veteran next turn, play the Veteran, return, I don't know, or Hallowed Priest maybe. Well, now that's going to make things very difficult. That's a real problem, because now we have to find a way to punch through while the opponent's getting extra cards. And I think this is the point where we actually can't recover, sadly. Yep, we'll just take what we can. I mean, why not spread some of the love around? All right. I mean, the next removal card they have, we're just dead here. I'm pretty sure we can't beat this particular deck. Without having something. But even then, you know, being real, even if our Snakeskin Veil had been Valorous Stance, we would have just protected a creature earlier and still would have lost everything to the Sweeper. So, not a huge deal one way or the other. I mean, we kind of know the drill there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and concede this one. We're not coming back from here. Okay, this looks reasonable. If we could get a green land next turn, that would be really great. Because then we could play Veteran, play Innkeeper plus Veteran. So we need to draw a forest, actually. Would be the real key here, if we can make that happen. Let's go forest. That's not a forest. But it is stuff that gains life, so we're going to keep on trucking. And against red, anything gaining a bunch of life seems fine. So hopefully it's not a bunch of sweepers in red. That'd be my only real concern. Alright, well, we know what we're up against now. Now we have to hope they don't have Cinderclasm. If I believe they have Cinderclasm, how much am I willing to risk here? I guess becomes the other part of this equation, right? If I believe in Cinderclasm, then I think I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to cast the Orator. With the idea that if I were to draw a land, I would still be able to play both of these next turn. No, I wouldn't. I'd still be short one, actually. Ah. That's a bad idea. I should have played this instead then. Though the Orators do attack for 2, so there's that. But if they have a Cinderclasm, we're about to get wrecked. But we do at least get to replay the Veterans as the Spirits on the backside, so there's that. So who knows? And we are at 26, so when we play Valkyrie, assuming Valkyrie doesn't get divided by 0, because there's a good chance that it will. Let's let this get divided instead. Yeah, actually playing the Innkeeper would have just been better for a lot of reasons last turn. But I'm going with this, because if there's something to kill the Unicorn, it'll just die now. Or counter it, I mean. And then if this gets through, then I will assume Valkyrie's probably safe the rest of the way. Alright, they are going to get 2 life back here, so we have to be aware of that. But it just leaves 2 mana, so then we're just going to be hoping to draw a land, which again, had I played the Innkeeper, I already have access to that other treasure. Just to make sure we don't get caught by Jurari's Disruption. That's kind of the real key here. The opponent opts to not cast anything. Alright, let's try this. Mostly, again, because if it's a Disruption, we just get a big creature. They can bounce it or target it or whatever here before it gets its counters. Yep, there's an Abrade. Makes sense. Alright. Now the opponent's staring at lethal on the board, so it's probably Cinderclasm or no. I mean, I guess you could, like, Fading Hope 2 things or whatever. So, I mean, there's options. Alright, go looking for the answer. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you find land in Cinderclasm, that's a thing. I also find it peculiar that they didn't want to play the Environmental Sciences when they were only going to Abrade. Alright, we're keeping it. Let's see what we can do with this. Alright, well, it looks like this is going to be Trellisera, hoping it doesn't get hit by Jurari's Disruption. Maybe they'll have another tap land here. No such luck. Oh, but they did do that for us, so that's nice. How convenient. I was going to say, sadly, we do need a second white source, so that's got to stay on top. Alright, I'm going to assume that's a Doomscar over there, so we can't get too crazy with our board, unfortunately. And we don't have another life gain creature at this point. Oh, so it's just a Fading Hope there. Alright, fair enough. Maybe that is not a Doomscar. Or they're just being very safe with their cards, which is a real possibility. But I think we're going to go with Trellisera again. Just so we can keep scrying. That we will keep. Mostly because that opens up options if that is a Doomscar or something to get rid of multiple creatures in some way. Well, that's a thing. I guess we'll have to use this Prosperous Innkeeper sooner than I thought.
Someone call for a hero?
Well, crap. Now I kind of feel like we have to walk into the Doomscar, which makes me very sad. How do we best do this? Because we definitely don't want Teferi out there after the Doomscar. That's not negotiable here. So I think the plan is play Innkeeper. Sadly. Man, actually, let me think about this. If we draw another life gain thing next turn, we'd still have access to 5 mana, right? We could play that and then the Unicorn. So we'd rather have that or the Voice. Though this actually is a 3-2 as opposed to a 2-2. Ah, man. I'm going to do this. Actually, wait. That doesn't even gain us enough life. That only makes Trelicera a 4, not a 5. I was thinking about the creature coming into play, doing a thing. Ah, that sucks. Alright, let's just play this then. Don't need that. Alright, so I'm going to do this to at least make it reasonable to take down Teferi after the next turn. But I assume this is where we get Doomscarred. Yep. Alright, so we played around the Doomscar as best we could. We got our life gain. Let's see if we can find another life gain creature. Because that's our real plan here. We failed to do that. So let's go ahead and play this. And then we'll wait. This is going to get bounced. Fair enough. They don't get anything for it at least, so that's the good news. Oh my gosh. This is not going according to plan at all. Wow. What do we do here? Alright, I feel like we do this. I mean, we can get rid of a multi-land on their side, but I think I'm just going to do this. If they have another sweeper or something, so be it. Nope, looks like a counter for our Unicorn. Nope, it wasn't even that. I guess because we both have Field of Ruins, there's a lot of pauses here. I mean, they may have another one of those deal 2 things or whatever. I don't know. Alright, so they're kind of accepting Teferi dying here, it feels like. But I still think we have to send 2 things into Teferi, most likely. Alright. Well, that makes things a little bit easier. Now it's just, do they have another sweeper? So I think we're going to have to play around that a little bit. I mean, they filtered their hands, but we've drawn 3, what is that, 4 lands in a row? Ugh, that is a tough situation. Alright, so that can go kill Teferi. That's going after your opponent. Not to say they don't have another Teferi yet, but if they do, nothing we can do about it. During their end step, we'll probably get rid of their multi-land just to take away some options. And, you know, reduce our ability to draw lands because we don't want any more. Anytime you're the aggro deck and you're drawing more lands than the control deck, that's usually bad. We don't like that. Oh, so much mana. Okay, well, they can do damn near anything they want right now. I kind of like the fact that they're tapped out, but I'd also like to draw spells as well, so they'll have access to 2 lands here, and we'll just have to deal with the consequences, whatever they are. I totally forgot this was a magic card, by the way. That Piercing Light, whatever. Oh my gosh. Really? This is super unfortunate. Yep, they had another Piercing Light. Go figure. Man, this sucks so much. I mean, the good news is the opponent's mostly top decking at this point, so I guess it's okay. Oh, that's bad, though. They just found extra cards. Again, something we're not gaining life with, so that sucks. But I think we go ahead and play it. All right, memory deluge. Well, now we have to assume they're going to find something. Man, all these lands in a row just hung us out to dry. Ah, man, this sucks. I was even thinking, like, even if we got a Valkyrie there, we would have just played Valkyrie and a creature, went up to 27. We're still only hitting for 6, 7, 8, 9 there. Still wouldn't be enough. But it's kind of all we got, so we just got to keep on keeping on. Ugh. Wow, this is rough. We only drawn 2 life gain enablers, and we play like 15 or 16 of them. Yeah, we're just not going to be able to keep up, I don't think. Like, the amount of cards the opponent's getting to see, like, they're going to get everything they want here. Ah, man, I actually had a thought for a second. We had enough mana that I was like, if we were to get a life gainer, could we gain enough to make these big enough? But, no. Not at all. Though this does bring in an interesting situation, because we could get back a life gainer. I just don't think it's enough, unfortunately. Yeah, we can't do it this turn anyway. And we know they still have access to at least 4 more life, so that makes this attack kind of mostly irrelevant. Sure, you get rid of things. Sounds good. Oh my gosh. This is so pitiful. Sure, they're going to counter and shuffle some things back into their library. Because that's what these decks do. Yeah, I think we had options, but unfortunately just had too many dead turns. Yep, there you go. Shuffle some things in. Makes sense. We'll play a Deuter. I don't think it's going to do anything by itself, unfortunately. And we still have more mana than the opponent, don't we? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. GG's. We're dead now. Okay, we'll keep it. Hopefully we find some green mana along the way. Because that's the real story here. We'll lead out with some of these life gainers, hopefully. Well, things are about to start getting bad. Because I assume if they have something to kill a creature, it's going to kill this priest right now. So we need a green mana, really. We either need a green mana or another thing we can cast with 2 white. Or this game's going to be over before it really gets started. Oh, we just got there. We just got there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and play this, because you got to bring the heat big as fast as we can. And also discourage them from wanting to do good things here. Yeah, I guess I kind of want that, in a way. I mean, the reality is I'm probably just going to throw this other Trelicera away next turn just to get the life gain triggers. But I wanted to be able to have the mana to start activating this if necessary after that. So I figured I'd at least secure that for the time being. Considering we're going to have a 7-7 and a 6-6, I'm not that concerned about what's going to go on with the opponent. I mean, they would have to have... I mean, even another 3-3 here doesn't even let them effectively block, so... Catilda. Alright, so we're doing Naya Wolves or some such. Alright, I can dig that. Yes, I'm sure. I know what happens here. We're going to keep the old one because it's bigger. Don't want that. Now we can get rid of all those lands. We got what we need to function now. That we will take. I mean, that's 13 if you don't do anything to it, so... Do what you will there, opponent. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Alright. I'm not sure what they're planning. I mean, our creatures are on the ground, so they can chump block things next turn, actually. Oh, they were trying to make sure they can cast a Huntmaster, which, I mean, I guess is cool. I mean, it's a big old duder. Doesn't matter totally, but, you know. In theory, having that is awesome. Ooh, Snakeskin Veil. Probably don't care about that too much. Don't want that. So you have to block this. You have to block this. You block that. You can kill one of these. Get to keep a 6/6? Sure. I mean, they could... Yeah, you have to. That's the only way you can block. You just block to kill a 3/3 with your 6/6. And let the wolves and the 2/2 chump something, right? Yep. That makes sense. I'm willing to make those trades. Also, if we get a land, we also get a creature back. Actually, no, we don't. We haven't leveled this yet. Alright, opponent's dead anyway. Oh, man. I guess everything costs 2, though, so let's go ahead and keep it. Let's gamble and see what happens. I think we just go Innkeeper into nothing and then turn 3 try to do something. Hopefully we find a plains here. You know, this is kind of what happens when you're in a budget, right? Most of these forests would probably be some multi-lands or something. Where those are pathways or the slow lands or something. I probably wouldn't have but 1 or 2 maybe regular forests. But, you know, you got to make do when you're doing the budget thing. I also don't remember seeing these sleeve backs. That's cool. They actually make wings. What the hell? I have never seen this. That is cool. I don't even know where those came from, but damn, those are awesome. Like, I don't even really care about having fancy backs, but look at this. This is amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay. Now we got to get serious. And I almost feel like we just back-to-back Hallowed Priest here. I think I'm going to. I think that's what I want to do. Though, playing the Orator seems kind of sweet. But I think I'm actually just going to do this. And then probably just play Valkyrie next turn. And then we'll just see what the hell happens, because I don't know. This could be very bad for us. We'll see. This might just also be like Chariot turn or something. Nope, it's an Infernal Grasp. Fair enough. My opponent's making a lot of mana here, if nothing else. And you know what? I am willing to attack with these, actually. Like, if you want to trade, I'll trade. Their mana is worth more than our creature right now. With us missing lands, that's a chance for them to get ahead. We don't necessarily want that. Alright, so now they have tons of mana. They've got 2, 4, 5, 6 here if they want it. Yep, Storm the Festival. There you go. Yep, GG's. Okay, let's do it. Try to make the most we can out of this. I wouldn't mind getting a green land that we could, like, turn 2 Voice of the Blessed, then turn 3 play Veteran plus Trelicera. That'd be pretty nice. And then the following turn, if we were able just to play a Valkyrie, that should be enough to end the game. But we'll see how lucky we get. I mean... Aw, Spikefield Hazard. Oh no. Fair enough. We'll see what else I got. They might have another Spikefield Hazard. Who knows? Looks like they do. Yay, us. And unfortunately, we did not find a green land, so we're going to go ahead and play the Valkyrie. Expressive Iteration. Also could have something like a Fading Hope or some such here. And there's a land, though that comes into play tap, so we do get a little bit of a freebie turn here. What do we want to do with this? I was not expecting to get this opportunity. So we could Innkeeper. Actually, you know what? Why do that? Let's just maximize our holdings here. It's just a matter of, do I want Voice of the Blessed to be bigger, or do I want Trellisera triggers? I think I want more Scry triggers. Don't think we need that. And this is why we did it what we did in the order that we did it. Yep, the opponent gave up. Okay, so there was something interesting in the results that I didn't expect. We actually won a lot of games against the Epiphany decks, or pretty much any type of red-blue decks, which I was not really expecting. But as it turns out, I think just gaining a bunch of life and still continuing to attack and go wide actually caused a big problem for them. So that was surprising and very positive, so I like that. The downside is, I assumed we were already going to have trouble with pretty much any of the Orzhov or mono black mid-rangey or control type decks. And it was worse than I thought. Like, we literally could not win. I had some that were epic games. Some of them I played to 25-minute games and still lost, but did not win a single one. Pretty much, and real talk, anytime I saw an opponent that pretty much opened with a snow-covered swamp after a while, which was a lot because I played against probably like 10 of them, like, after like the 5th game, I literally just went concede, right? So if you played me and I conceded when you just played a snow-covered swamp, I apologize, but I was trying to make content for a video and I had all the information I needed at that point. So being real about it. Now, all that being said, we did pretty well against the other creature decks, no surprise. We were able to gain some life and do the big thing, so that was all good. But I think if you want to have a realistic shot on the ladder, you have to play 7 to 8 copies of both Snakeskin Veil and Valorous Stance. I think those are your choices. I think outside of that, you don't really have a shot. Mostly because you have to be able to protect your creatures as they're getting big to keep the pressure on. And then if they do go for, say, a Blood on the Snow or whatever, you need to be able to find a way to keep that from dying as well. Now, you can normally get past the Meat Hook Massacres. That wasn't so much of a problem. But it was really the big sweepers, like the Doom Scars, the Blood on the Snow, that stuff, that was really problematic. So to solve that, here's what we're doing in the final list. We're cutting down the number of Cleric classes to 3, keeping a full 4 Lunarch Veteran, going up 1 to Snakeskin Veil. We're going to go down to just 3 Hallowed Priests, and this doesn't bother me so much because we do have several things we could cast at 2 anyway, so this is fine. Then we're going to keep the Impassioned Orator because we want to make sure we have plenty of ways to gain life. And then we're playing 3 Valorous Stance, which, to be fair, Valor Stance can also come in handy being a creature removal card if necessary. So it's not bad to have to play this anyway. Then we have Voice of the Blessed, keeping a full set of 4, keeping 4 Prosperous Innkeeper, keeping 4 Trellisera. Now, this was tough because I almost cut 1, but I made the decision to go ahead and just keep 4. We're going to go ahead and keep 3 Unicorns because what I like about the Unicorn is like really 2 things. One, it doesn't just die to 1 mana Blood Chief's Thirst, but also it's a 3/2 body. So if you just need to play it to block or something, or just fight with it, even if you don't have anything to gain life, it's actually still reasonable at 3 power. And then we have Righteous Valkyrie still playing a full 4. Now what this means is our previous 4/4 creature that was here is now gone. Mostly because I just never found a good spot for it, right? Usually in the situations I thought we were going to need it, where opponents are just chump blocking, I believe only once would it have come up and made a difference. All the other times, we just beat the opponent down, or we flew over the top, or whatever it was. So it ended up just not being an issue, which is weird, because it seems like it would have been, but it just didn't come up once. But again, I only really even drew it a couple of times, and I didn't even care that I drew it. So I cut it and made room for those extra Valor stances that way. Lands were not changing much, but truthfully, we really just can't. I mean, we're limited. But obviously, if you could change the lands into the rare lands, I think that would do you a whole lot of good, especially so the Arctic tree lines don't come into play tapped, because that's going to mess you up every once in a while. And, you know, if you could play stuff like Aspirant, that would be good. If you could maybe squeeze in, like, Elite Spellbinder, that would be good. But without those, this actually isn't bad. I think making those changes will really solve a lot of the gaps that we ran into. Now, I think this is the type of deck that would just do extremely well if you're just a play queue person for sure. And it's actually reasonable on ladder. Now, I don't think you're going to go on a crazy tear and you're not going to go like 15-1 or anything like that. But if you want something that's like, you know, maybe you can go 6-4, you know, 7-4 pretty regularly or whatever, like this could get you to that level. And I think you'd be okay with that. But again, if you're just on a limited budget, but you want to compete on the ladder and you want to at least go through that and learn how to play against some of those decks, go for it. And if you hit the part of the ladder where you're going to be playing a bunch of red-green or red-blue decks, apparently this is very good against those. So there's that. So, you know, take it for what it is and enjoy it. Now for today's card spotlight, we're going to talk about Archangel Athun. Because imagine if we could play that bad boy or bad lady in this instance in this deck. Because man, that card is so good. I play it in my commander deck and I love this card so much. Mostly because it's its own one card machine, right? If you gain life, you get to put a +1/+1 on all your creatures. Well, it just so happens to have flying and lifelink. So every time you connect with it, you get to put +1/+1s on your whole team. Like, could you imagine with this deck getting like double counters? Like, it's crazy, right? Or even gaining life, then gaining bonus life on top of it. Like, this card is so good. Now, it did get reprinted last, I believe, in Double Masters, which at this point is like 2 years ago. You know, actually, I guess a year plus, not 2 years, but like a year and a half, maybe, whatever. Anyway, Double Masters, it was a while ago. So there's a chance it's going to be due for a reprint sometime in 2022, because the card still is like $20+ if you want one. So I wouldn't go crazy to get it, but if you have the budget or some credit somewhere, it's really cool to pick up and have as part of your commander stuff. But if you really want one, maybe wait it out till midsummer, see what gets announced this year, because there's a chance it would get reprinted sometime in the next like 12 to 18 months. Now don't forget, if you want today's deck list, it will be down in the description below, along with links to our Facebook gaming page, our Twitch streams, and our Discord if you want to come by and hang out and talk about things. And if you'd be so kind, if you've been thinking about supporting the channel and wondering, why does PowrDragn not have a Patreon? That's because I have memberships right here on the YouTube channel, which can get you a chance to have input on the content, get you exclusive videos and content, or even get your stuff featured right here. So yeah, check those out. And even if you don't want to do that or you can't afford it, please remember to like this video, because that helps so very much. Like, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff, because every bit of interaction you have, especially the shares, that does a ton. And then remember to hit the notification bell if you haven't, and choose all notifications, because that'll make sure you don't miss the next video I put out. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.